Good morning, kiddos. Today we're working on Unit 1, Lesson 8, Remembering, and today it's all review. We're writing fractions as mixed numbers, and then you're writing a mixed number as a fraction, adding and subtracting fractions with common denominators, and then you've got a word problem that you can work through. And remember, we don't do stretch your thinking, so you can go ahead and cross stretch your thinking off of your paper because you do not need to complete that. When you're writing each fraction as a mixed number, remember it's like reading it specifically. We'll look at number 1 as 11 divided by 5. And you can ask yourself the question, how many times can 5 go into 11 without going over? Well, 5 can go into 11 2 times without going over. 5 times 2 is 10, and I'm left with 1. And I write it over the denominator. You can also solve it as an actual division problem, and you can write it out as 11 divided by 5, and we know 5 can go into 11 2 times, which is 10, and 10 minus 1 is 1, and we write our fraction or our remainder over the top of our divisor as our fraction, so 2 1/5. So your answer for number 1 is 2 1/5. And you can get to your answer either way, whichever one works better for you. I'm going to pause this for a second and erase. Numbers 4 through 6 ask you to write each mixed number as a fraction, and we'll go ahead and do number 4 together, and it's 1 5/6 to refresh your memory. And remember, when you're writing a fraction as a mixed number, you first take the denominator and you multiply it by the whole number, and then you add the numerator, and that becomes your new numerator, and your denominator stays the exact same. So your denominator is still 6. So 6 times 1 is equal to 6. Plus 5 is equal to 11, and so 11/6 is 1 5/6 written as a mixed or as a fraction. When we get down to adding and subtracting fractions, we've been doing this for quite a while now. These ones all have common denominators, so they're pretty quick and easy for you. Make sure you just pay attention to the operation, meaning if it's addition or subtraction. That's usually the only thing that catches kids up, is they'll accidentally add when they should have subtracted, or vice versa. Number 7 says 3/7 plus 2/7 is equal to, and remember the denominator stays the same. In an addition and subtraction problem, if you have a common denominator, the denominator stays the same, and 3 plus 2 is equal to 5. And so 5/7 is number 7. Remember to show your work. They do give you space below 7 through 15 to show your work. Make sure you show your work, please. And I'm going to go ahead and review number 12 with you, because that's another one where we're borrowing from the whole. And number 12 reads 5 1/3 minus 1 2/3, and we can't just subtract that fraction because the 2 is bigger than 1. So we need to borrow from our 5, and we need to take out 1 whole, which is 3/3. 5 becomes a 4, so we have a 4, and then we're adding 3/3 to this fraction, and 3 plus 1 is 4. Our denominator stays the same, and now we're subtracting 1 2/3. So 4 4/3 minus 1 2/3. 4 minus 2 is equal to 2. Denominator stays the same. And 4 minus 1 is equal to 3. So 3 2/3. Our whole number is 3 2/3. So I wrote that in the wrong spot. 3 2/3. All right. Now, number 16 says Ayla and Sam were partners on a science project. Ayla spent 2 3/4 hours working on the project. Sam spent 1 3/4 hours working on the project. How long did they work all together? Well, when you see the word all together, you know that you're going to be adding. So this is an addition problem, so go ahead and set it up and figure out how long they worked all together. After you've finished, make sure you complete all your numbers on this page through 16. Take a picture of your work, attach it to your assignment, and then turn it on Teams. Thank you.